arrested more than 1,600 people in a week-long crackdown on so-called county lines gang.
Strobe lights still spinning, music cut mid-set, doors sealed front and back before anyone inside even understands what's happening. Officers moving through a crowded London nightclub floor, checking IDs, checking pockets, checking the staff who know exactly which doors lead to which back rooms. 85 people detained before the night is over. Some for drugs, some for immigration offences, some because the women working the VIP booths were not there by choice. This is the scenario that plays out in some form on licensed premises across London more often than the public realises, because the nighttime economy is not just where Londoners go to relax. It is one of the most efficient laundering and recruitment environments organised crime has ever found. Cash-heavy, high footfall, built-in plausible deniability, and, according to the agencies that police it, increasingly a front line in the same battle against county lines, trafficking, and organised supply chains that runs through every other part of this country. Before we go through what the real data says, the county lines numbers, the trafficking links, the safeguarding figures, and what the Met itself has confirmed about the scale of disruption running through London right now, let's be honest. A club raid gets a headline and a fine print mention of multiple arrests. Nobody explains how venues like this fit into a national enforcement push that made over 21,000 disruptions last year alone. That's why British Front Media exists. Subscribe now, because what follows is the complete picture. Reason number 1. The Metropolitan Police disrupted organised crime groups more than 21,000 times in 2025 alone, a 63% increase in a single year. This is the real backdrop against which any nightclub raid sits. According to the Metropolitan Police's own published figures, the force disrupted serious and organised crime groups 21,231 times in 2025 through seizures, arrests and prosecutions, compared to 12,994 the year before. That is not a marginal increase. It is a 63% jump in 12 months, and it reflects a force explicitly reorganising itself under a new Met for London, Phase 2, around proactive, intelligence-led disruption rather than waiting for crime to be reported. Licensed premises, clubs, bars, late-night venues, sit squarely inside this strategy because they are precisely the kind of cash-intensive, high-turnover environments that drug supply chains and exploitation networks gravitate toward. A venue doesn't need to be corrupt from the top down to be exploited. It only needs one door staff member, one promoter, or one VIP host on the payroll of the wrong people. Reason number 2. A single national week of action against county lines produced 415 arrests, closed 116 drug lines, and seized £195,000 in cash. This is the scale of the machinery that any individual club or street-level raid plugs into. The Met confirmed that a week-long national operation between 2 and 8 March 2026 resulted in 415 arrests, the closure of 116 county lines drug operations, and £195,000 in cash seized, with 178 of those arrested already charged in relation to high-harm offences. Detective Chief Inspector Saab Carr, who works on the Met's county lines response, put the human cost in plain terms. County lines, in her words, devastate lives. These county lines networks don't operate exclusively on residential streets. They feed into the same supply chains that run through nightlife venues, using runners, dealers, and sometimes venue staff themselves to move product through environments where loud music, crowds, and low lighting make detection deliberately difficult. Reason number 3. A single City of London intensification week pulled 178 kilograms of Class A drugs, 83 firearms, and safeguarded 1,434 children and vulnerable adults in 1 week, in 1 square mile. The scale of what's moving through London's licensed and unlicensed entertainment and retail economy becomes clearer when you look at concentrated enforcement weeks. During one county lines intensification week, City of London Police reported seizing approximately 178.49 kilograms of Class A drugs, including 151.3 kilograms of cocaine, 16.1 kilograms of crack, and 11 kilograms of heroin, alongside 83 firearms, 325 bladed weapons, and roughly £2.4 million in cash. In that same week, 1,434 children and vulnerable adults were actively safeguarded, referred for specialist support, strategy meetings, and, in some cases, modern slavery crime reports. That last detail matters most. A County Lines Intensification Week is not just a drugs operation. By the police's own account, it is simultaneously a safeguarding operation, because the same networks moving cocaine through a city are frequently the same networks exploiting the young people and vulnerable adults used to move it. Reason number 4. Real organised drug supply networks convicted in London show exactly how principal line holders coordinate dealing across the city by phone. The mechanics behind any nightclub-adjacent drug operation are well documented through actual prosecutions. City of London Police secured convictions against Masoom Ali, Ismail Mirza and Mohammed Omar Tariq, identified as principal drug line holders running supply operations across multiple London addresses, coordinated almost entirely by phone, sentenced to a combined total of more than 13 years in prison. The investigation noted plainly that the drug supply industry, in common with many other businesses, runs on telephonic communication, orders placed, runners dispatched, payment confirmed, all through devices that look identical to any other phone in any other pocket, on any dance floor in the city. This is the operational reality behind any venue-linked drug seizure. It is rarely one dealer working alone. It is usually a structured line, with a holder coordinating supply from a distance, while runners, sometimes the most vulnerable people in the chain, take the physical risk on the ground. Reason number 5. Safeguarding figures from County Lines operations confirm that drug enforcement and trafficking enforcement are now treated as the same problem. What separates the modern approach to operations like this from older-style drugs policing is the explicit, stated link to exploitation. City of London Police's own messaging on intensification weeks makes the connection directly. Organised criminal gangs seek to profit from the exploitation of vulnerable individuals and young people, spreading misery and the violence that is frequently associated with it. And the force states clearly that identifying the people being exploited for others' gain is treated as core to the operation, not a separate work stream. This is precisely why a raid on a venue like a nightclub is never purely a drugs story. Wherever police find a structured supply chain moving Class A drugs through a public venue, the same operation routinely uncovers the adjacent machinery: unlicensed workers, trafficked staff, exploited runners. Because in London's organised crime economy in 2026, those things are not separate criminal markets. They are the same network, wearing different uniforms depending on which door you walk through. Reason number 6. The Met's own strategy confirms this is now sustained, proactive policing, not one-off raids waiting for a tip-off. The clearest signal of where this is heading comes from the Met's own framing of its strategy. The force describes its current approach as proactive and precise, built around strengthened neighbourhood teams and sustained disruption rather than reactive policing. A deliberate shift reflected in that 63% year-on-year jump in disruptions. London's nighttime economy, given its scale, its cash flow, and its long-documented vulnerability to exploitation, sits inside that strategy whether the public hears about a specific venue or not. So here is where Britain's capital stands in June 2026, over 21,000 organised crime disruptions in a single year, a single national week of action closing 116 drug lines and netting 415 arrests, a single City of London intensification week pulling nearly 180 kilograms of Class A drugs and safeguarding over 1,400 vulnerable people, convicted line holders running supply networks by phone across the capital, and a police strategy explicitly built to treat every link in that chain, dealer, runner, exploited worker, as part of one investigation, not 3 separate ones. A scene like 85 people detained on a club floor is not implausible in that context. It's the kind of number these operations regularly produce when intelligence, timing, and manpower align. What matters is what happens after the doors reopen, whether the venue gets cleaned up, whether the network behind it gets traced beyond the dance floor, or whether, like so many of these operations, the people at the top simply move 2 streets over and start again. Subscribe to British Front Media.